There are people right now running 7-figure businesses with no employees, all zero. And there are people burning 6 months on AI that produce stuff that literally nobody even responds to.
Both true. So let's settle what AI can actually run and what it cannot.
Let's go.
Welcome back to the Business Launch Podcast. I am your co-host, Kim Jimenez. I'm here with Chris as always. And a quick note on who this episode is for. If you run a coaching or a service-based business online, you sell your expertise, not a warehouse full of products, this is built for you. We're going to answer the questions that you've been actually asking, back each one with real numbers, and give you an honest take. So, Chris, let's get into the first one.
All right. So the number one question that people are asking around this, per our research, is can AI actually replace an entire team?
Ooh.
So I think for us, and I'm gonna let Kim speak to this as well, but we have taken the approach of AI as a thought tool, much like your laptop that you issued to your people was an execution tool. And so we have empowered our people, not replaced our people large in part, but there are things in the business that no human should be doing, like monotonous stuff that literally no one wanted to do anyways. And that's kind of the path that we've taken. And so it is both, like we opened up with, it's both. Some things it does replace, but key point here, it replaces tasks. It doesn't replace judgment. And I think the one person business that needed help, but couldn't afford to actually hire help.
Yeah.
Like this is your gap problem to solve so that you can hire people for actual human work where they're most effective. That's, I think, our direct answer to that. What would you say?
Yeah, I think this is the era to shine. And I think that as we look at some of the numbers in our notes here, there's a really interesting stat. 29.8 million US solopreneurs exist, and collectively they're producing about 6.8% of the GDP. So the gross domestic product. That's crazy. About $1.7 trillion in revenue just from solopreneurs.
And so many people that are solopreneurs take themselves so
I know they don't think
small,
they're not think they're serious.
And you're producing like almost 10% of the GDP in the entire country.
Exactly.
Like $1.7 trillion worth.
Yeah.
That's not a joke at all.
Not at all. So 81.9% of US small businesses have 0 employees.
Wow.
That's pretty eye-opening. And so I think what is happening
You know what that tells me though? Burnout, probably.
What do you mean?
People running their business, if 82% of small businesses have 0 employees.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It means the business owner is wearing like
all the
at least
hats.
15 hats, at least.
Yeah, but I think is that most businesses were already running solo.
Yes.
And what's happening is AI is increasing the ceiling of what is possible and just exploding productivity. And we're seeing that at every level of our programs. You know, we work with clients one-on-one very closely. We work in group settings, we work in community. And so we have access to so much data based on where they're at, what they're struggling with, how much money they're generating at each level. And I think the biggest thing is that they're all telling us, I just can accomplish so much more.
Yeah.
I feel like AI has just allowed me to get things done faster and more efficiently. And I think that's the appropriate use of AI. I think that for a couple years there, since, the emergence of ChatGPT as a large language model in 2023, we weren't really sure how to use AI appropriately. And there was Agreed. There's so much hype about like, everyone's going to get replaced and everyone's going to get fired. And so things are starting to fall into place, I think, in the right way, particularly for the online business owner.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Question number 2 is how much time does it actually save you? So obviously we talked about, a lot of solopreneurs. So how much time is it actually saving most of those people? So I'm going to tell you, we'll give you our take on that, maybe anecdotes. Anecdotally. Okay, let's start with you then, Kim. Well, how much time do you think it's actually saved you?
Oh my gosh. It's so hard to say honest. I can tell you per task, but I would say my productivity has probably increased by 200%, maybe more than that. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
I get at least double the work done, and probably reduce my hours also by 40 to 50%. All right, familia, I'm interrupting this episode real quick because I want to talk to the coaches and the service providers directly who are not posting content because maybe you are watching other people with fancy cameras and perfect studios and maybe amazing B-roll and thinking, I could never compete. I could never keep up. I wouldn't even know where the heck to start. I want to talk to you because here is the reality. Your ideal client they're not looking for polished content. They're looking for clear content that resonates with them. They're looking for answers to the questions that they have that you know exactly how to guide them through. So here's the deal. We need to stop comparing ourselves to everyone else and just start posting. If you want the confidence, the clarity, and the strategy to do that, I have a brand new content calendar challenge that just dropped. In 10 minutes every single day, we're going to craft your ideal message in your voice, not in everyone else's voice, so that you're attracting your person in way faster ways than over-polished and over-produced content ever will. And because I know you're super busy and you probably can't attend everything live, this is a challenge that's delivered straight to your inbox or via SMS every single day for 5 days. It takes just 10 minutes, and we're going to use AI to actually create content to tell you exactly what to say, how to post for your ideal person. We're going to find the words that they're using on the internet. We're going to use a bunch of cool tools and some hacks to actually put it all together so that you're finally getting the confidence to get your content out there consistently, and so that you're standing out from the competition with simple content that is clear, that is specific for your ideal person, and that leads them to want to hire you, so that it also grows your bottom line. Check out the QR code on screen or snag the link below this video to get started. Okay. So I'm getting double the work done in half the time. I think that's a fair way of saying it. But really, I think that part of what this entails is the fact that if we can measure real, tangible results that are not fluff, right, we can be sane about how to use AI and also what the promise actually entails. Because I think that there's also, just as much as we're seeing people empowered by AI, we're also seeing people really disappointed by AI and really frustrated with the output and feeling like they're spending more time training the AI tool than actually getting it done. And they're like, it would be much faster to just do it myself.
It's like anything else. You have to learn how to use the tool. And a lot of people turn it on and they're just like, oh, it's supposed to just do what I need it to do. And there is a way. It's the operation manual, right? Like there is a manual of how to run this. And that's what we've been really mastering behind the scenes on our end and teaching to our clients. And they're blown away when they finally like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, this is how I get it to sound like me. This is how I get to actually understand what I'm looking for and what I'm trying to get it to do.
If you take the time to dial in your AI system, it will pay you forward tenfold, but you have to take the time. That's the thing. So I'll give you guys a practical example. About 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, I went from having an idea to actually getting a sales page written up on our website, fully designed, getting all of the assets ready to go, running an entire promotion, and getting essentially our first couple of clients and customers. And all of that got done in about 24 hours. I had the sales sequence written out, just all the assets for marketing. I could not believe it. I did not have our team touch basically anything. They did help me with a couple things like getting some of our sales copy on our checkout page, but that used to take us, at least 2 weeks of prep time,
at least.
And then all hands on deck. I was able to do it solo for the first time ever. But the following week, it took me like 10 times more than I thought to actually deliver on that offer. And I was so frustrated by it because I was like, Chris, how is this possible? The marketing was so easy, but now actually getting the thing delivered is taking so much longer. And he pointed out something really interesting. He's like, you have spent over a year perfecting your marketing system inside of Spark with Claude. You haven't necessarily done that on the delivery side. And now that you're switching gears in a different aspect of the business, it's taking you so much longer because you haven't sat down and actually put in the systems. And I was like, oh, that's exactly what's happening. And so it's all about the time that you're willing to invest in it to perfect it and make sure that it's working for you, not against you, that makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, I would say the studies are actually showing this, that people are spending more time working because they're actually getting to do their experience with Kim's experience. Their output is so insane that they're like, oh my gosh, I can't put it down. I can't stop. And that's definitely the case for me. I'll have Belle, our video editor, she'll show some B-roll as I'm speaking about this, but over a 10-day period, I built an entirely brand new custom web app that will eventually be mobile app as well, for our community. And it seamlessly integrated everything, all of our traditional replays, all of our trainings that we host, the community that we host, everything. It connects to our new AI tool called Spark. We've probably heard us talk about it, but that realistically would have taken an entire development team probably 6 months to do that before. And me and Claude Code did it in 10 days. Now it was like 80 to 100 hours. I'm not going to dismiss how much work I put into that. And I'm not going to dismiss how much I've educated myself on using this tool to achieve that feat. So I wouldn't advise you to go run and build something like that. But I was unhappy with the status quo. And I said, I feel empowered to go try this. And I feel like I've trained AI well enough to do this. And so just to show you, from 6 months of work of an entire development team to actually me being able to do it with Claude and some spare time, in a matter of 10 days where we're ready to onboard our people, and it's going to be the most seamless experience that we've ever provided for them. So it's crazy what's possible. But let me say what the statistics show, since we covered our anecdotes here. So currently AI is providing 10 to 40% of daily work time being cut, which is about 1 to 4 hours per day.
So that's the return on investment, is about 10 to 40% of daily work time is being recovered.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Which is 1 to 4 hours a day.
So I feel like in a lot of ways, that's not just a productivity hack. It's actually adding a part-time employee.
It is.
And for us, the way that we have thought about this isn't necessarily about replacement, it's about addition. And so we haven't fired our team because AI is here, but we have significantly enhanced our team because AI is here. So how many employees do you think we have actually added, quote, employees through AI, like between
oh my gosh,
what Claude is providing, between Tarvis and Rosalina and our own teams, thought partners inside of Claude, plus our AI agents?
When she says those names, she's talking about our AI thought partners that we've custom built for ourselves. We've trained on ourselves. So I would say between me, I've got probably 5 different ones that I work with on any given day, maybe 6 that are like thought partners for different purposes. Plus Kim's, plus Brian, our CTO, has one. Plus Bell has one.
Plus all our agents.
Plus all of our AI agents. So at least 10 to 12.
At least.
More, probably 15 minimum. I might be undershooting that because there are probably some that I'm like ClickUp agents. So probably more like 20. But regardless, we preloaded a handoff documents that we uploaded for the team for their specific job functions. It's like I trained your thought partner to work with you, use it. And just speaking on Bell alone, our virtual assistant / our content manager in the Philippines, now I've never seen her do a better job of nailing our voice and our content editing that she does.
100%.
So it's not replacing her. We were asking her to do something impossible. Capture Kim and Chris's voice, plus do the video editing, plus help us with admin, plus do the scheduling, plus. It was insane. And then also, oh, by the way, sound like Kim and Chris on a topic that you're not an expert in. It's an unfair ask. It's an unfair ask of a VA. It's an unfair ask of an employee. And candidly, it was kind of an unfair ask of ourselves to be able to carry all these things the way that we were. And so I think we took too much pride and joy in the grind of things. And I'm not saying like this is the equivalence of working smarter, not harder, but I think it's the ultimate form of being able to empower yourself to achieve maybe the things that you've always wanted to achieve, to build the things you've always wanted to build, to serve people in a way that you've always wanted to serve. Synthesizing our client data, we'll have a call, we get the transcript, we run it through our thought partners, and we give them execution tasks as like the follow-up homework. Or we save a project file around them specifically so that we have that continuity. So we're not having to remember that, store that in our brains, plus 5,000 other things. So for me, it's not just the time save, it's the massive, massive benefit, specifically for people like me that are insanely right brain, meaning we're insanely ADD, and now I don't have to carry that stuff anymore. So for the neurodivergent, as it were, the people like me that are more ADD, which is I think most entrepreneurs and business owners, like this is your time to do things, I think, that maybe you never could have done before in a way that you never thought was possible.
Yeah. And I also feel like the perfect kind of scenario, at least for us and what we're finding for our clients, isn't necessarily saying, okay, I'm going to replace my entire team with AI. I think that is outdated thinking.
It is outdated
companies
thinking.
Are starting to realize, hold up, like AI has limitations and they're real. We still need people who are real humans to connect with other humans. We still need people to audit because AI still makes mistakes. And I think in our team, we have just realized that, okay, now we can actually allow our team to be in their zone of genius instead of bogged down by monotonous tasks. So for example, Belle is still our editor. And even though we use Descript to edit the majority of our videos, she's the one who's actually adding in the creative elements that make the video pop. She's still, guiding the ship and essentially taking all the elements that actually make the video resonate or more engaging, or even just taking the clips and making sure that AI isn't cutting them incorrectly, which happens all the time. She can spend more of the time doing that. Same thing with Brian, right? Like he doesn't have to freaking manually code everything anymore. Now he can actually make sure that things are operating the way that they're supposed to, that they work, that they talk to each other. And now he's actually able to creatively think about, well, what if I can develop this AI system that connects with that AI system? And we're able to give him access to our clients. So our clients are hiring him. It's just such a cool dynamic that is different.
During our app build that we just did, I was actually passing things over to Brian, request for him to use his thought partner to run an audit. Now imagine him having to audit every line by line, the code that we were writing, that Claude and I were writing. Impossible.
It's a lot.
He would get back to me in 5 minutes because his Claude was trained to audit my work because the builder can't audit its own thing. Same's true with AI, right? And so he would pass back, and our AIs were like back and forth with each other. And Brian and I were just mediating the conversation. So that orchestration is really, really powerful. Can I nerd out for like 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those that have fears, I like to put things into like real data sets. So like quantify or qualify your fears, right? So I'm putting together an AI action plan playbook. It's for literally how to use AI. Like we're talking about, like what's our system and structure around that. So I'm working on it. It's not done yet. Maybe we'll drop a wait list below so you can get yourself on that if you want early access to it. But one of the things that I found in there in that research was the human brain and all of its dynamic ability. We can do everything we do on 20 watts of energy. Literally, your brain runs on 20 watts. I told Kim, we can run on Taco Bell and Diet Coke. That's insane that we can produce what we produce. The magnitude of what our brain can produce is unbelievable on that little amount of energy. Let me give you a comparison so you understand how significant that is. For AI to match what our brains do, it's 2.7 gigawatts relative to 20 watts. Now, for perspective, I threw a joke in there. So if you know the movie Back to the Future, Marty McFly got sent back to the future on 1.21 gigawatts, which is the same thing. It's gigawatts, same thing. So literally half of what it took to send Marty McFly to the future, double that for AI to actually have the energy requirement alone to match what the human brain does on 20 watts of energy. It is unbelievable what we're able to accomplish. And so that's where you look at it and it's not even cost effective. And that's what these big corporations are finding. They're spending more money trying to replace people on expensive compute, which is brain capacity, processing and reasoning, all the things that our brain does automatically on Taco Bell and Coca-Cola. Hopefully not, but theoretically, right? But the point is we're now finding where it fits. We went all the way this way, now we're coming back this way. And the human equation now, the human capital equation is coming way back into the mix. And so again, I don't mean to nerd out too hard on that, but just know this, that it is a tool and the data is showing that we don't even have the capacity to replicate what the human brain does on the little energy that's required to do it.
I love that you just went on a full tangent, but you did not explain what the fear was. So you said, for those of you who have fears around AI, what do you mean by that?
The replacement is actually not possible in the physical reality that we occupy.
So for people who are afraid that they will get replaced by AI, you're saying it's going to be very challenging.
We don't have the compute. We don't have the energy. None of the resources or the technology that we have right now can replace what your brain does on the little energy. We're going to now live in an energy economy. And right now, that energy does not even come close to matching what your brain can do at the levels that it can do it.
So this has always been our take, but I feel like in the online business space, a lot of people have very different takes. For a couple of years now, we've heard everyone's going to get replaced. No one's going to have a job. Businesses will not exist. All of this fear around AI. And I think that it would be worth qualifying why we feel that way. And for you and me, we see the trends and the patterns in the macro market, and we follow it really closely. And the reality is, yes, definitely some people are getting, fired and being replaced by AI. But most of those people are doing a lot of menial tasks that are monotonous and are not skilling up. I think the more we skill up as solopreneurs and even employees, maybe there's some people who are sending their VAs to this. The biggest complaint I hear, and we hear really from small business owners, is my team is rejecting AI.
And
they're afraid. Instead of becoming like superhuman because you're using AI to make your job and the things that you do so incredibly productive that your employer is like, no, I will never replace this person because they have like figured out systems to make their job more efficient. We're seeing people just reject it altogether.
Your team is not going to adapt and use it unless you take the first steps to show them what that looks like for their job.
It's true.
We had an in-person mastermind and we literally were covering this topic last spring, this past 6 months ago, not even 4 or 5 months ago. And we actually invited them to bring their plus ones, like bring their right-hand person if they had one.
Right.
The level they walked down, the breakthroughs they had were unbelievable. And every single one of their plus ones had concerns about being replaced with AI. They all left empowered and now running with it. And so, I think we can hope and wish and dream they'll use it, but it's on us to empower them with the tool itself. Much like, again, that's why I like saying, like, if you hired somebody and they're working remote, they need a computer to work with. Like, you would issue that to them. We issue and preload whatever it needs to have, the AI that they're going to utilize, in our case, Claude, for those specific people. And that has been tremendous because you can load the skills they need. You can load the guardrails they're going to need to capture your brand and your voice. Like, all those things can be done. Obviously, there's some skill required there. But that's the really exciting part for me.
Yeah. And I feel like we skipped ahead to the last question, so I'm just going to read it right now.
Okay.
Do I still need people?
Yes.
The answer is yes, absolutely. And what we're seeing in the market is that business owners what they're doing is they're pairing AI with contractors and with part-time employees and even full-time employees just to make their role more efficient. And so if you are kind of like excited about that prospect, I think that the sky is the limit. There's so much that small businesses can accomplish when they're pairing human with AI.
Yes. A data set just came out this morning at the time of recording this that the unemployment number has hit a 6-year low.
Wow, that's great.
In the US.
That's great.
So yeah, so the data is not suggesting at all the fear. And so I think, again, what we talked about is like everybody tried to replace and now they're coming back. Like a lot of these senior level guys are now running AI and they're hiring junior guys to do code that's too expensive for AI to do.
100%.
So it's weird how things played out, but it is working out in our favor.
Yeah. Okay. So as we wrap up, I think the next natural question that we get a lot is, am I behind on all of this? I am so behind. I don't know where to start. And I think that a lot of people, particularly in the online business space, you are way ahead than most small business owners. So even if you're just, setting up the basics, like setting up a thought partner and training your Claude account or your ChatGPT account, that is a massive leap forward. And Chris and I will link below this video a bunch of tutorials that we've done in our individual channels for this particular thing. If you guys want to know how to get started, that is the place to get started. It's just like, let's set it up. But the reality is, Chris, that
I've got a good one too.
Oh, you have another stat?
I have a good statistic.
Okay.
So let me quiz Kim first and see what she thinks. What percentage of people do you think actually have a paid AI account? Meaning they're paying for ChatGPT, they're paying for Claude, they're paying for whatever the case may be.
Oh my gosh. I would say probably 15, 20%.
Okay, so 84% of people have never used AI. This was as of 5 months ago. Yeah, and only 3% of households are on a paid account.
Okay, all right.
So now that's for personal use.
Sure.
So obviously that might skew a little bit for business use, but we are definitely the early adopters. But yes, it is a very, very small percentage of people and a very large that have never even used it at all.
Yeah. And so 60% of new businesses have used AI to set up their business, but that's about the extent of it. And so we want to make sure that you are setting up systems that actually allow you to run your business more efficiently, that save you a lot of time and keep you in your genius zone. So Chris, last question. What should we set up first in terms of AI systems for businesses? What is the first move?
Oh man, so we have a whole visual model on this. Belle, if you can add that as we show this here, but we have a 3-rung system that we teach people, and it's like, I think, gonna really be future-proofing yourself as well. It first starts with keeping yourself at the center. No one can replicate your magic. No one can replicate your mechanisms. No one can live your lived experience. So it keeps you at the center. Then it's training your AI thought partner. So when I say that, what I mean is building a project inside of your favorite language model, like Claude or ChatGPT, understands the way you like to do things, that understands what it needs to be for you, that understands how you speak, that understands who your person is that you're trying to sell. That way, when you come in, and most people do this, they just start a thread cold. There's no context. They're just like, open up ChatGPT or Claude and just start talking. You want to make sure that those live inside of your what's called project area, because then every time you chat within that thread, it's pulling from that context that you fed it, that you've trained it on. So think of it like you're hiring a thought partner to work with you. What does it need to know and what does it need to be for you? So what does it need to know about you, your customer, and your business? And then what do you need it to be for you? Those are really, really important. I would say as a first step, if you haven't done that already, absolutely that. The next step, as a pro tip, if you've already done that, is start connecting your tools. And what I mean by that is there's something called MCP. It's called Model Context Protocol. It basically just means this. It's the USB-C of the digital world. So think I'm going to plug in my phone to my laptop because there's something that I need to communicate between those two devices. I use a USB-C, boom, they're connected and I can say, yes, trust this device, right? We've all done that. So when we connect our Claude or whatever tool we use, we can connect it to the tools that we utilize. We can connect it to our ClickUp. We can connect connected mine to Facebook ads. We can connect to, you name it. I mean, there's hundreds. It's like the App Store. So what that does is it allows your Claude or your ChatGPT to connect with your tools and say, hey, tell me how we did on sales last week. Hey, tell me what the team's working on this week and make these assignments to people. So it's pushing out into your environments or pulling things in that are important to you. If you can do just that, I know it sounds like a lot. So if it does sound like a lot, come join us inside of our community or our coaching because we'll help you do this. We have this is literally what we do, but just telling you the what and not necessarily showing you the how. That would be my initial steps. Do not jump straight to agents, for the love. You've probably heard everybody talk about agents. You will build a bunch of orphan agents that nobody knows what they're doing. It's like hiring a VA and you're like, did they work this week? I don't know what they did. Like that's what people are doing. They're just hiring agents with no instructions. They don't have a home where they live, that they speak back to your ecosystem. It becomes a big mess. So keep you at the center, bring out what makes you you, build it into your thought partner and connect 2 or 3 of the tools that you use to your thought partner, and you will see life get a lot easier and you'll see AI perform a lot better for you.
I love it. All right. So just landing the plane here. Can you run a business on AI alone? Here's the reality. You can run the tasks, but you can't run the thinking.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's good, right?
You kind of nailed that.
It buys back your hours, but it doesn't buy judgment. It doesn't buy taste, your voice, your connections, or your relationship with your clients.
Yeah.
And so here's the part that nobody says, Chris. AI will multiply your clarity, but it also will multiply your confusion just as fast. So if your message isn't clear, AI can produce more unclear content quicker than anything else.
Yeah.
And so if you're feeling overwhelmed with your marketing, with your content creation, I want you to know that overwhelmed isn't who you are. This is what we say around here. It's what happens when you don't have a system. So if you're thinking, okay, I'd love to incorporate AI and maybe my first thing is going to be content creation and marketing, but you don't even know what to post or where to start, that's a real roadblock, and we have fixed it. So we just released something really cool called the Content Calendar Challenge. In 5 days, 10 minutes a day, you're going to walk away with a month of content in your voice using AI, setting up things like your voice DNA.
It's really cool.
And the link will be right below. It's super inexpensive, and I think you're going to love it.
Awesome.
All right, fam, thank you so much for being here. We will catch you on the next one. There's also going to be some related episodes that we want you to watch next, because you're going to want to make sure that you're arming yourself and equipping yourself with as much of this amazing insight of all the cool new things that are happening in the online business world. And we will see you there.
See you on the flippity flip.
Bye for now.